but only conservatives are out here like oh no, the big beautiful Donald Trump would never diddle children. Are you sure?
I will not lie, I did not think Trump would be able to pull off a 5D chess brilliant reverse psychology strategy to expose all the Democrats. And I'm still thinking this might be cope, but the result is absolutely diabolical. So Trump has just signed the Epstein Files Transparency Act. All the files will be released. So far, immediate news.
Wonderful.
Newly released campaign finance records show that from 1990 to 2018, Jeffrey Epstein directed about 89% of his political donations to the Democratic and progressive causes. He was a wokey that hated Trump, with notable individual recipients including Hillary Clinton, yeah, Bill Clinton, yeah, and Chuck Schumer, yeah.
Excuse me. So, I don't think this is new information. This is just, yeah, I mean, this is true. Epstein was connected to a lot of Democrats. He was also connected to a lot of Republicans, a lot of foreign nationals. Okay, Prince Andrew, for example. So, you know, the idea that it was just Democrats is delusional. But anyway, yeah, I don't doubt this. You know, Epstein certainly donated to Democrats. He rubbed elbows with a lot of them, including the Clintons. And, in fact, the Clintons flew on his jet, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me. I don't think it's confirmed if Bill Clinton ever actually went to the island. I know Trump said he went, like, 28 fucking times or whatever, but, they did visit his estate in, I believe it was North Carolina. Bill and Hillary would go and see him at a ranch that he owned. So, anyway.
So this is one of the craziest 5D reverse chess plays I've ever seen in my entire life. This is crazy. Trump was out there saying, no, I don't want to release the files. So all the Democrats make their entire campaign releasing the files. And then Trump was like, okay, release the files. 89% of Epstein shit is pro-left. And I'm going to show you some of the craziest breakdowns possibly the internet has ever seen. Because they call Trump a pedophile. They call Trump a pedophile for being seen in a picture with Epstein 10 years ago, okay? These guys were all homies with him.
No, that's not why. No. That's not why. It was part of it. But, no, it wasn't just one photo. It wasn't even just photos. It was, you know, everything. But, like, there's a lot, okay? They were friends for a long time. That doesn't mean Trump is definitely a pedophile, okay? At this point, though, because, like, new shit just keeps coming out, okay? Like, a few months ago, I was like, you know, Trump probably, probably not a pedophile, probably not, maybe, you know? But now I'm sure of it, okay? I've been sure for a while. And, it's, you know, it's uncomfortable. It's disgusting. If he is innocent, in the unlikely chance that he is innocent, I hope he proves it, okay? I hope he does. I hope he gets the files released, and you know, he gets exonerated or whatever. But you know, no matter what, when these files come out, people are going to be very skeptical, and understandably.
5 years ago, and like besties. So if you call Trump a pedophile for that, then these guys are giga rapists. All right, so lock in, because we have a crazy video today. So first, Trump made a tweet, and it's one of the tweets of all time. Jeffrey Epstein, who was charged by the Trump Justice Department in 2019 as a Democrat was a lifelong Democrat, donated thousands of dollars to Democrat.
And then he died under your watch. He did not kill himself, by the way. That, you know, look, the thing is, you know, if Trump is guilty, if he is a pedophile, which in my opinion is probable, that means that he almost certainly, okay, if he is a pedophile, he certainly was the one that did it. Okay, that killed him. You know, had to be. You know, I mean, not Trump personally, but, you know, he had him killed. You know, he made the boss call. That is so insane, man. That is so crazy to me. But either way, Epstein did not kill himself. He did not. That anybody that believes that is just crazy. And so, anyway, I don't know if Nuxanor believes that, but, you know, if he doesn't believe it, he's stupid. And if he does believe it, then, like, why would this be a brag? You know, like, Trump may have arrested him, but then he died under Trump's watchful eye. He was assassinated. That's crazy.
Associated with many well-known Democrat figures, such as Bill Clinton, who traveled on his plane 26 times, Larry Summers, who just resigned from many boards, including Harvard, sleazebag political activist Reid Hoffman, minority leader Hakeem Jeffries, who asked Epstein to donate to his campaign after Epstein was charged. We have evidence that Hakeem Jeffries asked Epstein for a donation after he was a charged pedophile. Dollar store Obama going crazy. Democrat Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett and many more. Perhaps the truth about these Democrats that are associated with Jeffrey Epstein will soon be revealed, because I have decided the bill to release all the Epstein files. As everyone knows, I've asked the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and Senate Majority Leader John Thune to pass the bill in the House and the Senate respectively.
Okay. All right, man. You like, let's talk about Steve Bannon. Because first of all, Epstein was acquitted the first time he was charged. Okay, so he wasn't like, when he made this donation, allegedly, to Congressperson Jeffries. We don't know it. I mean, well, they couldn't have known that he was a pedophile because he was acquitted. And how did he manage to get acquitted? Oh, that's right, with the help of Steve Bannon. Steve motherfucking Bannon. Who was a Trump loyalist, who's Trump, that's Trump's guy. It's crazy.
The votes were almost unanimous in favor of the passage. At my direction, the Department of Justice has already turned over close to 50,000 pages of documents. Do not forget, the Biden administration didn't turn over a single file or page related to Democrat Epstein. Bro, the way this flipped might be one of the craziest twists of all time. I think historically, this will be looked back at as one of the craziest plays ever. The way this flipped on the left. Nor did they ever speak about him. Democrats have used the Epstein issue, which affects them far more than the Republican Party, in order to try and distract from the amazing victories, including the great big beautiful bill tax cut, strong borders, no ban in women's sports, a transgender for everyone, ending DEI, stopping Biden's record-setting inflation, lowering prices, biggest tax and regulation cuts in history, ending 8 wars, rebuilding the military, knocking out Iran's nuclear capabilities, getting trillions of dollars invested in the USA, creating the hottest country anywhere in the world, and delivering a huge defeat to the Democrats on the recent shutdown disaster. For years, our great nation has had to endure the Russia, Ukraine, impeachment hoax 1, impeachment hoax 2, and many other Democrat-created witch hunts and scams, all of which have been so terrible and divisive for our country, and have done to confuse, deflect, and distract from the great job that the Republicans and the Trump administration are doing. This latest hoax will backfire on the Democrats, just as the rest have. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. This might be one of the most diabolical tweets of all time. I'm not even going to be rude, I'm not trying to be mean. This might be one of the most diabolical situations. Trump's like, you know, why are we talking about Epstein? It's a hoax, it's not important, we got to talk about all this other stuff. Everyone's like, oh my god, that means Trump's a pedophile. Trump's like, all right, we will release all the Epstein stuff. The Democrats are forced to vote for it because they were just talking about releasing it forever. It gets voted on nearly unanimously, and it turns out all the Democrats are implicated with giant Epstein web of lies. This might be one of the biggest twists in the history of retards. That's right. As a man that loves retards getting shit handed to them, we are watching some of the greatest retard-handing shit situations of all time. So this is how it passed. As you can see in the House, on motion to suspend the rules and pass, as you can see over here, you got a whole nice mix of things. Shit's happening. It's here. Breaking news. The Epstein Files Transparency Act, or at least the Epstein Files, has just got enough votes to pass. Trump has to be scared to death, says resident libtard extraordinaire Brian Krasenstein. Trump asked to release the files, I responded. You did the opposite. Quiet, piggy. This is a tweet from Brian Krasenstein, for the record, from 7 months ago. Unpopular opinion. Releasing the Epstein's client list with a vast majority of names having likely no involvement in this heinous crimes would be a reckless act in today's climate of online mob justice, would destroy the lives of innocent people based solely on guilt by association, offering no accountability, just a modern-day witch hunt fueled by speculation and outrage. So you are telling me that December 1st, 2024, when Trump was running his campaign and saying that I'm going to release the Epstein files, you were against releasing the Epstein files. Then, after Trump refused to release the Epstein files, huge L on Trump's part, you decided to call him a pedophile for the last 6 months. Now that he is releasing it, you're like he has to be scared, even though Trump directly said that he condones releasing the files and he literally signed it into law. So this is crazy. This might be some of the most insane situations of all time.
Well,
like, truly
he kind of has no choice. Can you imagine if he fucking vetoed it? Like, what do you think would happen? I'm vetoing it. It's dead in the water. It's a hoax. People would lose their fucking minds if he vetoed it. Okay, he has no choice, whether he's in the files or not. But I suspect They scrubbed him. Okay, it's clean.
He's a retard. But that's not the end.
Because otherwise, he'd be doing something. He'd be doing some crazy shit. Okay, he'd be doing something weird. Okay, I don't know. He would like find a way to stop him from being released without vetoing it.
Chuck Schumer made this tweet. The public is fed up with waiting around to get to the bottom of the Epstein files. Americans are fed up with Donald Trump's lies. They are fed up with the cover-ups. They are fed up with Republican leaders who keep siding with Donald Trump instead of siding with the American people who demand transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein. There's only one right answer for the Senate. Pass this bill as written today. You know, like Trump said. Quiet, piggy! Schumer gets thousands in donations from Jeffrey Epstein. You can shut the fuck up. For the record, this is after he was a convicted pedophile. All right, let's get on the same page here. All right, I'm not gonna lie. This might be one of the craziest L's ever taken by the Democrats. The fact that the Democrats literally backed themselves into a corner so hard to get Trump to release the files, then it turns out the files literally implicates all of them. Also, double ratio on Senator Chuck Schumer. Don't mind if I do. Follow me on Twitter for more bullshit. We are fed up. Quiet, piggy. Quiet, piggy. So here you have two photos. All right. So this photo here on the left is a man that solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein after he was arrested for child prostitution. This photo is a man that claimed that the Republicans were running a pedophile protection program. Now you might think that these are different people, but in reality they're both Obama. Yep, that's where we're at. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. True story. True story. So things are not doing well. When Epstein mentions Trump in an email, Democrats will call him the most vile pedophile to ever live. When they're the ones texting him, colluding with him, taking his money, he becomes just another Virgin Islands constituent exercising his civil rights. Amazing. Amazing. So, Jasmine Crockett truly humiliated herself in potentially the greatest way, I think, ever in the history of politics. This was made to my attention. Someone brought this in my chat to my attention, and honestly, I thank you so much for showing this to me. This might be one of the funniest things of all time. Jasmine Crockett goes to the Senate to yell and screech about how the Republicans were taking money from Jeffrey Epstein.
Folks who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly: Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain, Palin, Rick Lazio. I just want to be clear. If this is the standard that we're going to make, just know we're going to expose it all. And just know that the FEC filings, they are available for everybody to review. This is absolutely ridiculous.
So basically she goes out and she lists a whole bunch of people that were funded by Jeffrey Epstein on the Republican side. Now there is one twist. There's one twist. Someone in my chat said, okay, cool, put them in jail too. No, you fell for the hoax. There's a twist. The twist is, that was a different man named Jeffrey Epstein. Unfortunately, she's too stupid to realize she was talking about Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, a small donor. Not Epstein, the generational pedophiles. All right? So she went out there with a whole list of people that got donations from a random guy named Dr. Jeffrey Epstein. All right? And she basically, she goes out there to try to slander all of them for being in bed with pedophiles in defense of her party, who literally is in bed with pedophiles. This is the craziest upset, I think, in the history of time. I've never seen anything like this. We deserve better dumbasses. We deserve better dumbasses than you, Jasmine Crockett.
Know that the FEC filings, they are available for everybody to review.
Yes, we know. A swing and a miss. Now, obviously, they grill her on this because she basically goes out there and basically accuses all these Republicans for being in bed with a pedophile, and she just got picked the wrong Jeffrey Epstein. Actual DEI hire. So anyway, the twist of all of this is that she ended up going on Fox News. CNN, rather. She would never go on Fox News. So this is CNN talking about this.
You talked about Republicans taking money from a Jeffrey Epstein. Here's what you said.
Who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly: Mitt Romney, the NRCC.
Dude, they're like, why do I don't even need to do my job. They're just destroying themselves for me.
Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain, Palin, Rick Lazio.
I got my team to do some digging. Now, we have an IQ cap for my team. We will accept nobody
is that real?
with an IQ over 79. That's right. That's the limit.
You mentioned Lee Zeldin there. He's now a cabinet secretary.
McCain? Really? Damn, you know? I actually kind of like McCain. I mean, don't get me wrong, he sucks. Like, I kind of hate him. But, like, I like the era of Republican that he represents.
He responded and said it's actually Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who's a doctor that doesn't have...
Yes, Crockett, a physician named Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who is a totally different person than the other Jeffrey Epstein, you know, the pedophile, donated to a prior campaign of mine. Oh, my God.
Any relation to the convicted sex trafficker. Unfortunate for that doctor, but that is who donated to a prior campaign of his. Do you want to correct the record on the people that...
Listen, I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein.
I never said it was that Jeffrey Epstein. That's right. I just said it was someone named Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, yeah, it was in the context of all of my homies being literally besties with, you know, pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, and then I said it works both ways, and then I accused them of also being with Jeffrey Epstein, but I never said it was that Jeffrey Epstein. This is the greatest backpedal of all time. So this is worse, for the record. If you would have said, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, it would look worse than saying, yeah, I called him a pedophile, but they just like took it as me calling him a pedophile, because that's kind of how it sounded. But in reality, that's a different thing, because I was crossing my fingers behind my back.
So that people understand when you make a donation, your picture is not there, and because they decided to spring this on us in real time, I wanted to...
Spring this on us? You were yelling about... Dude, Democrats have made Jeffrey Epstein their only problem, all right? We have issues in society. They're shutting down the government. We have so many problems. We have protests, we have riots, we have violence, we have terrorism on our streets.
Over, bro. Shut up.
Having a Christian person...
Shut up about this bullshit, man. Oh, Christian he's gonna talk about fucking Michigan or whatever, the fucking Nazis marching up in Michigan. For those of you that don't know, there's a guy that, like, it was like I think, is it Dearborn? Is that where it's happening? For those of you that don't know, I've talked about this before on the broadcast. There are a large number of Muslims in Michigan, and specifically in the suburbs around Detroit. Okay, and the reason why is because of auto manufacturing. Okay, that's right. A lot of people moved to the country, not just Muslims, but a lot of immigrants moved here to work in auto manufacturing. But anyway, Muslims in particular, a lot of them moved to Michigan, and they worked at the auto manufacturing there in Detroit. They lived outside of the city. So anyway, all that is to say, there's a guy up in Michigan, a Nazi, that like hates Muslims or whatever. He hates them. He wants them to like die or some shit. I don't know. But he, right now he's just like trying to piss them off by desecrating the Quran. And anyway, people have done this before in this country, but it pisses me off because it's the same thing every time. Like they disrespect the holy book, and then Muslims get mad, understandably, and then they're like, "Oh, it's a free country. It's a free country. Fuck you, brother." And it's like, yeah, like you nobody is disputing you have the right to desecrate the Quran. Like, the Sharia police aren't gonna come arrest you. Okay, we're in America. But like, you're an asshole, and it's understandable that they're mad at you. Okay, like, me personally, it upsets me when a person desecrates the New Testament, okay, or the Old Testament as well, the Torah. But anyway, like, obviously I don't really care if somebody does that to the Quran, but like, I understand why that would upset a Muslim. Obviously, like, it would piss me off too, and I'd probably get mad. That it's not that crazy. Fucking I actually watched, for some reason, I watched an Asmongold video off stream the other day. That's how I found out about this. And he was like, yeah, like, all the Muslims, this is really gonna piss off the Muslims. Yeah, they should just leave. If it pisses them off, they should. And it's like, dude, what? Like, of course it pisses them off. Like, it would piss anyone off. The fuck? A Christian would get mad at that shit too, and it's like, what's up with the double standard? Yeah, I wonder. If somebody, like, burned the Torah and a bunch of Jews got mad about it, do you think people would be like, those savages, those savage Jews just can't handle our freedom of speech? Like, no, man. No, everybody would be like, damn, that's fucked up. The Jews are understandably mad. But, like, you can't extend the same line of reasoning to Muslims. Anyway,
This is Muslim Civil War. That was my previous video. New York is becoming a communist dystopia. Like, immigration is an issue that is happening everywhere. Inflation is a problem. You can't afford houses, all right, because of all the, largely because of illegal immigrants that are buying up the housing market. There's a ton of different issues going on. But
that's so wild, man. Like, no, it's fucking BlackRock. I'm pretty sure corporations own it's either 1/3 or like 2/3 of all residential buildings. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. What the fuck?
Jeffrey Epstein, the only thing they talk about.
It's
How dare you spring
illegals?
this upon us like that?
Republicans to think about what could potentially happen, because I knew that they didn't even try to go through the FEC. So my team, what they did is they Googled, and that is specifically why I said A. Jeffrey Epstein. Unlike Republicans,
But the Republicans were right. It's like, yeah, I know that all my friends are besties with pedophiles, but Republicans, they had a friend with the same name as a pedophile. What is this response?
at least don't go out and just tell lies. Because it was not the same one, that's fine. But when Lee Zeldin had something to say, all he had to say was it was a Jeffrey Epstein. He
Yeah, that's a pretty good response.
admitted that he did receive donations from a Jeffrey Epstein, so at least I wasn't trying to mislead people.
See, I wasn't trying to mislead people because he admitted that he did get funds from a guy named Jeffrey Epstein who has the same name as the other guy, that the pedophile that was donated to all my friends. That's right.
Now, have I dug
Quiet piggy. Quiet piggy.
again to find out who this doctor is? I have not. So
Why would you need to look up who this doctor is? It's a random guy, like, with a very unfortunate name.
I will trust and take what he says is that it wasn't that Jeffrey Epstein, but I was not attempting to mislead anybody. I
You literally were trying to mislead everybody. What are you talking about? Why would you bring that guy up?
literally had maybe 20 minutes before I had to do that debate.
Yeah, but people might say that day, well, you're trying to make it sound like he took money from
I did not
a
know.
registered sex offender.
No, but I literally did not know. When you search
So, quiet piggy, this is retarded.
FEC files, and that's what I had my team to do.
So you didn't know. So you literally thought it was that Jeffrey Epstein, and you literally lied and slandered everybody. And instead of actually apologizing, you doubled down because it was a different guy named Jeffrey Epstein.
I texted and I said, listen, we're going up. They are saying that she took donations.
Right, but someone might say, well, your team should have done the homework to make sure it wasn't.
True. Yeah, some might say that, yeah.
Within 20 minutes, you could not find that out, not from just
So then shut the fuck up. Like, the logic is I didn't have time to research the slander claims before slandering people, so it's not my fault.
doing a quick search on FEC. So, number one, I made sure that I was clear that it was a Jeffrey Epstein, but I never said that it was specifically that Jeffrey Epstein.
Again, how on earth do the leftists not want to kill themselves when they hear this is their politicians? Like, if I was a leftist, I would immediately find God after hearing this monster is an actually elected pundit. I didn't mislead people on purpose. I said it was a Jeffrey Epstein, not the Jeffrey Epstein. And yeah, she got absolutely humiliated. What if I told you it got worse?
Stacey didn't initiate that change.
So Stacey, for the record, is someone that was, I showed this in a previous video. Stacey is a congresswoman, Democratic congresswoman, that was texting with Jeffrey Epstein in middle of a Trump deposition. Literally getting advice from Epstein on how to cook Trump, all right? That's Stacey, all right? That's who we're referring to. A woman that was texting with Jeffrey Epstein while Trump was being deposed in the Senate.
Jeffrey initiated that change, and she took the information. Just like if somebody texts me.
Yeah, but she was responding and saying, you know, what are you talking about? Quick, I'm up next. And her questions were about Rona. But do you think that was inappropriate? I mean, would you text with someone who was a registered sex offender
I mean,
about what you should ask?
I honestly know that he had never been convicted of any federal crimes at that time.
He was, actually. He was a...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, my mistake. I forgot about that. I did say that he was acquitted earlier. That was false. He got off with a slap on the wrist. Okay, my mistake. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, why would you associate with a sex offender? We're talking about American politicians here. I can't believe that an American politician would associate themselves with a sex offender. Are you fucking high? They're sex offenders. Most of them are sex offenders, man. Like, what are we talking about? Yeah, it's not crazy. It's not. And anyway, it's not, obviously, like, the idea that Jeffrey Epstein was only friends with Democrat politicians, he wasn't friends with Republicans, it's crazy. It's so delusional. He was a legendary financier, okay? Everybody went to him for financial advice. Everybody. He was a legend. Don't you know?
registered pedophile. Convicted, jailed, registered pedophile. Like, she's on CNN. She is getting the most softball of softball interviews of all time. And she is
He got off light.
So anyway.
He'd have been in jail already.
And then she's like, actually,
He hardly even went to jail. He got to leave the jail for 6 days a week. 6 days a week he got to leave for 12 hours a day. Like, when I say that he got off with a slap on the wrist, like, they really gave him the minimum sentence for what he did. And he pled down. Okay, like, he was charged with, like, actual sex trafficking of a minor. Okay, but they dropped the charges down. Because he pled.
in jail.
He had been jailed. And in my deal, the Republicans are constantly texting with a 34-count convicted felon. So if it's okay for them to text
Yeah, Trump got 34 counts of convictions from retard judges that were trying to get him on anything. That guy is a generational pedophile. Not the same, actually.
him at any point in time, then I'm not going to say that that's right or wrong, especially to the extent that you're talking about kicking someone off their conviction.
I'm not going to say it's right.
My big beautiful president did nothing wrong. He did not deserve any of those convictions. Like, come on, man. Come on. I just
Wrong,
like, what do you even say to these
generational pedophile in the middle
motherfuckers?
of deposition.
Were they sexting? Was it a matter of her being involved in the pedophilia? No, it was.
Remember how all these people were calling Trump? Can we just like put this into perspective? Do you remember how all these people were calling Trump a pedophile for the last 6 months, and now they're literally running defense for not literally sexting with Jeffrey Epstein? Like, this is crazy. This is absolute insanity. It's like, I don't understand. Trump is in the Epstein file, so I see no moral failing with raping children if you're a Democrat. I feel like that's essentially the argument that we're actually going down, and it's insane. So this is Stacey Platt.
From Jeffrey Epstein.
This is the one that was actually caught texting with Jeffrey Epstein while she was doing the deposition.
And I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was not public knowledge at that time that he was under federal investigation.
He was already a registered pedophile. He was already in jail 4 years, and then on house arrest.
No. That's a lie. No, he wasn't a registered pedophile. Okay, that's important. That's important. He was a registered sex offender, but not he did the sex crime that he committed, that he pled guilty to. Did not. Well, so it did involve children. Okay, it like actually, I'm pretty sure the girls were, or the victims were like 15. Something, it was 2 of them. But anyway, for some reason, I guess that just didn't fucking matter, okay, and he wasn't convicted of like the child, because that would have carried a mandatory minimum of like, I think like 10 years or some shit, okay. But anyway, it makes no sense, but and the judge should be investigated, but that's pretty
4
much
years.
it.
You've got to be kidding me.
And who was sharing information with me.
Yeah,
Not a
very
pedophile.
Good defense. Good defense. But it gets even better because she then went on
Jeffrey Epstein
CNN.
had information.
But the funniest thing is they all go on CNN.
Not a
and
convicted,
help their
of
reputations,
course.
because CNN literally gives them the most softball interviews of all time. And they're all just getting humiliated because how are you going to defend this?
I believe that Jeffrey Epstein had information, and I was going to get information to get at the truth.
Because you hate Trump. You hate Trump more than you hate a generational pedophile.
Having a friendship with him is not something that I would deem to have.
He literally called you pretty in the text messages. Okay, you don't do that with someone that you don't have a relationship with at all.
And so I'm just looking forward. I'm moving forward. And I think that that's what we as American people should do, is move forward. If individuals are not...
We have to move forward. Yeah, we spent the last 6 months...
He was kind of a weird guy, though, right? Like I'm just saying, like, you know, I think that Epstein probably called women pretty, women that he wasn't really friends with, you know? Because the guy was majorly creepy.
Calling Trump a pedophile for appearing in a photo with Jeffrey Epstein 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But we need to move forward from the fact that I was literally just exposed chatting with Jeff Epstein literally in the middle of a deposition. We gotta move forward, guys.
Involved in illegal activity, extending his criminal enterprise or his financial enterprise, or all of those things. I think that we need to look at what people are doing moving forward.
We need to look at moving forward. We should not be looking into people's pasts, except for Trump, who we're going to call a pedophile for 6 months for no reason with no evidence.
Wait, let me.
This is pretty good. So this
No
is what she said.
evidence?
So let's hear what the CNN reporter responds.
No.
Just better understand that. What does that mean? Because at the time he wasn't
There-
What does that
there's
point about the whole
evidence,
moving forward
buddy.
thing?
a sex offender, and it had been detailed all the sexual abuse.
Yeah, so at that point he was already a registered pedophile, child prostitution guy. He's already been in prison. Yeah, so at what point are you supposed to like start asking yourself, maybe we should not be in great rapport with him?
A lot of people who have done a lot of crimes, and as a prosecutor, you get information from people where you
Yep.
can.
So her response,
Yep.
well, lots of people do lots of crimes. So like, yeah, he's a generational pedophile, but like, whatever. That wasn't a turnoff because, you know, everyone does crimes. I mean, he was literally lying to me in the text messages, like when he called me pretty, for example. But this is crazy. Are we the baddies? Are we the baddies? Like, bro. This is humiliating. This is absolutely humiliating. I've never seen a downfall quite this glorious in my entire life. And for the record, it's all of them.
One thing he's clearly doing is changing the subject from a different form of crime, which is child sex trafficking, which Jeffrey Epstein was a mastermind of. Donald Trump's name apparently appears throughout
Oh my
the
God.
Epstein files.
They've arraigned a Democratic member for taking a phone call from her constituent, Jeffrey Epstein, in the middle of a hearing. I still don't see what the charge is. Where is the ethical transgression?
And it's every single one of them. Like, you'll have dude will go out there, Trump knew a guy and the guy was a pedophile, we should kill Trump. And then you get the other guy, and then you get him today. What's wrong with being besties with a generational pedophile? It was just his constituent. It was your constituent, guys. And it's all of them. It's every single one. Now, Hakeem Jeffries, right, the one that's been calling Trump a pedophile for like the last 6 months, apparently invited Epstein over for dinner multiple times.
But now the bill to release the Epstein files is headed to Trump's desk. It's passing through the House and Senate. The Epstein release has been a roller coaster. Is the ride over? We don't know. We know Democrats think it'll damage the president, but now it's backfiring on them big time.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Remember, Epstein was a Democrat. He was a Democrat donor, and he hung out with Democrats and the liberal media at all of his homes.
True. And also, don't forget that he literally tried to make sure Trump would not become the president by any means necessary.
Clinton and Obama was a pen pal with the
And
pedo.
he was
Even
not
asking
friends
Epstein for
with
dating
any
advice.
Republicans.
And the judges that sealed the files were a Obama-appointed judge, another Obama-appointed judge, and a Clinton-appointed judge, for anyone keeping track.
Bill Clinton was supposed to testify last month, but his lawyers are playing games. Careful, you can go to jail for ignoring a House subpoena.
True.
House
Pretty sure that happened to Bannon. Pretty sure Bannon went to jail.
House Democrat Stacey Plaskett's also getting Epstein. She took thousands in donations from the predator, and he fed her questions during a congressional hearing. Raskin says it was a perfect phone call.
They've arraigned a Democratic member for taking a phone call from her constituent, Jeffrey Epstein, in the middle of a hearing. And of course, I don't think there's any rule here against taking phone calls in a hearing.
But all these
That's
Epstein
pretty crazy.
revelations-
But I thought any person that had a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile.
But all these Epstein revelations are suddenly making hips clam up.
You could just be talking to a sex trafficker during a hearing.
I haven't had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett.
But is that trouble?
I have not had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett.
Well, we just found out why Hakeem doesn't want to answer any questions.
Weird.
Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries.
Oh, no.
As part of their 2013
Get the
effort
sombrero.
to win a majority. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein.
Hakeem's team sent an
Wow,
email
that's pretty
asking for
awkward.
money and inviting him to
I had someone in my chat say that I'm acting like a leftist by calling him out for just being in contact with him. It doesn't prove anything. I think you misunderstand everything that's going on here. I'm not calling these people pedophiles, but these people call Trump a pedophile for the last 6 months. Literally fuck them. I'm sorry. Literally. No, what do you mean?
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you call him a pedophile? How dare you?
Also, just to be clear, I'm not calling them pedophiles either. All right, just want to make that very explicitly clear.
The Democrats. He gave me none. Zero. No.
You know, Nux is an Israeli. Maybe he knew him. Unironically, Nuxanor could be a fucking Mossad agent, like unironically. Yo, him and Epstein may have been co-workers.
Money to me, but he gave money to Democrats, and people are wise to you.
I love how like these conspiracy theories all already took over. It's like, all right, so Trump probably raped a kid, and Epstein probably has footage of it, and the Mossad probably has blackmail on Trump, and that's why Trump is bombing a nuclear reactor in Iran, owned by the guys that were developing nuclear weapons that they were going to use to kill us. And it's like, it makes so much sense. I mean, and literally it all came together. It all came together. It all came together. Oh my God, they'll never recover it. If Trump was right, it wasn't Epstein vote. Because they are way more involved than
If Trump is a pedophile, I don't really think that's crazy. I don't think so. Like, if he's guilty, then yeah, I mean, maybe he did bomb Iran just to distract from the Epstein files. Who knows? Who knows, man? I don't fucking know.
It's absolute insanity.
That's for goddamn
it's just
sure.
absolute
I don't know
utter
nothing.
Insanity. There's nothing else to say. It's crazy that we're doing this. Holy smorgasbord. So he also
Should
gets that.
Americans trust you and House Democrats on the Jeffrey
Holy.
Epstein files when one of your own, Congresswoman Plaskett, was found to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a hearing,
Yeah,
getting
weird.
information from him, using that in her questioning during a congressional hearing. And at one point, he tells her, "Good job."
This is a bipartisan effort to make sure that, consistent with what the survivors have requested, that there's full and complete transparency, and every single predator who may be in those Justice Department files doesn't escape accountability.
Most nothing answer of all time. It's like, your homie's in bed with a pedophile. And he's like, we want justice. Trump bad.
Okay.
Senator, on that note, just I guess a question that's out there: why wouldn't they have been released the last 4 years when President Biden was in office?
Well, that's a pretty good question. That's a pretty good question. All right, Biden was in office 4 years. Literally no one wanted to release these files. All right, no one cared. Now that Trump's in office, they're going to make believe he's a pedophile for this. But no one cared when Biden was in office. That's pretty weird. Why is that?
Question every American is asking, not every American, but so many Americans are asking, what the hell is he hiding?
What the hell is who hiding? Biden?
Why doesn't he want them released?
Who's he?
You don't want something like this released when even a whole lot of Republicans are calling for the release. His own party members.
His own party. You're talking about Trump. He asked you, why didn't Biden's administration release the files they had for 4 years? And his response is, everyone's asking why Trump doesn't want to release the files. Like, bro, retire. Piggy, quiet. Retire. Get out. What is happening?
People ask the question, what's he hiding? It's got
Nothing, actually. It's kind of like you guys that were hiding things, it seems. That's pretty crazy.
the answer, but
That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense, because how would, like, Biden was certainly sitting on the files, right? Okay, Biden also had dementia. Okay, so either Biden or someone else was, keeping the files hidden. Okay, but Trump was also the president before Biden, also had the files, highly likely, and he didn't release them either. Like, none of them are releasing it, man. Fuck, there was probably Epstein files way back under Obama. shit, maybe even going back further, some of these files that haven't been released to the public, you know, a lot of these are gonna predate even his conviction trial, where he was convicted of sex trafficking, or like transporting sex workers or whatever. That's it, man.
Releasing the files. Okay.
Wait.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Wait. So we gotta once again talk about how this Epstein crusade that is turned into basically a Democrat Party hoax. And what I mean by hoax, I mean it is a hoax that President Trump was somehow, some way involved in criminal activity with Jeffrey Epstein. Okay.
Right.
That has not been proven whatsoever. There's no evidence to suggest that was.
Look, man, we're waiting for
There was no evidence. There is no evidence. So it hasn't been proven. I'm not going to argue that. I'm never going to argue that, unless it is proven. Okay, but to say that there's no evidence, are you serious? Yeah, that's wild, man.
Evidence, maybe we'll have it, and you know it's gonna
No
happen. They'll
evidence.
release a file
No
and be like,
evidence.
oh, they scrubbed it clean, because obviously, like, there's always that the two tiers. It's like Trump is in the files, Trump's trying to hide it, Trump releases it.
Well, yeah, because nobody trusts the government anymore. So yeah, like no matter what they release, you're right, people are gonna doubt it. I agree with that, unless I don't know, unless like everybody gets burned. Maybe if Clinton and like a bunch of other politicians and Trump, if they all go down, then probably not that many people would say that. Okay, but anyway, that's not what's gonna happen. Okay, because they will fix them. They will scrub them. Of course they will.
Actually, we knew that he was in files, even though he scrubbed himself out. That's why he's not there. It's like, so what are you complaining about? Like, so what does releasing the files even do? It's nothing. It's all literally just a ploy.
I wouldn't say it does nothing. Okay, number one, I think somebody will go down. Okay, the MAGA base, they want blood. They want their red meat. Okay, they're gonna throw them a bone. Somebody's gonna go down. That's for sure. But anyway, that's why we want them released. Okay, yeah, of course Trump isn't gonna go down. Of course not. No, never. But a pedophile going to prison is a pedophile going to prison. Let's go. That's a big win.
Exploit to tank Trump's reputation for no reason, because it's a political attack. That's really what it is. And to be fair, I think that Trump handled the Epstein release very poorly. The whole tampon saying the files are on my desk and then there's no files, like, really poorly handled. Calling it a hoax also is poorly worded, because realistically there were thousands of victims. So I think it was poorly handled, poorly worded, and somehow managed to get turned around into one of the biggest left-wing backfire self-destructions I've ever seen in my entire life.
Case at all. No matter how much Democrats go on mainstream liberal media and make defamatory statements about the president, even the mainstream liberal media understands that, yeah, it is really reckless to claim that there's any evidence whatsoever that
I always have people in my chat saying this. The hoax was them trying to imply Trump was on it. I know what the hoax was, but when you call it a hoax, when the reality is there are thousands of victims and people are not going to understand that he's specifically referring to the fact that the hoax was that they're making believe he's a pedophile and he was involved. That part is the hoax, but that's not how the public hears it.
Was involved in any type of crimes with Jeffrey Epstein.
You don't care that the president might be a pedophile? You don't care that the
I love how they all do this. He might be a pedophile. You know why? Because he shook hands with a guy 20 years ago.
No.
It's like there's no evidence. There's literally no evidence.
But that's what. No, it's not insane. That's what we've been talking about all week.
There is no evidence of that. We're not going to.
But that's what the emails have been talking about. That's what we've been talking
about. The emails
about.
have not even been talking about that
all week. That's why he doesn't want to release the files. And
that's why he doesn't want to release the files. Like, dude, turn around. Your dad might be Trump. Like that. This is crazy, dude.
Say that nobody cares. It's kind of absurd. If the president is a pedophile, we should know about it, and people would care about that.
Right, no one.
It's insane that this is on CNN. I'll be real. It really is crazy. It's like there's like zero journalistic integrity to any of these places. Obviously, the point is slander Trump. But like, this is wild. Like, everyone might be a pedophile. Like, what is this wording? Well, like, literally, what is this wording? It's completely insane. Hakeem Jeffries might be a pedophile. Chuck Schumer might be a pedophile. You might be a pedophile. Everyone on the CNN staff might be a pedophile. Biden, almost definitely a pedophile.
Suggesting that President Trump is a pedophile.
I want to be extremely clear and make it clear to our viewers that the president has not been accused of any wrongdoing in these emails or throughout this process. A large portion of them came before he was even in office. But it is notable that their relationship comes up again and again in these emails.
Yeah, because this is literally the thing you're harping on. They released 50,000 emails, and they're like, whoa, Trump, the president of the United States, was mentioned in these emails. like a dozen times. It's like, bro, he's the president of the United States. What are you talking about? There's 50,000 emails.
Have questions for the president about their relationship? Does it make you at all curious about it?
In my opinion, this was a giant. This was a very effective leftist campaign. For the record, and I think it's really important to know this. This was an incredibly effective leftist campaign to slander Trump. Because this is how they get around it. They're like, well, I'm not calling him a pedophile. I'm just saying it's pretty suspicious that he was best friends with the best pedophile of all time. Pretty suspicious that he keeps coming up in relationship with that guy. Why doesn't he want to release the files? Actually.
Well, yeah, that is kind of weird. Yo, why are the Democrats saying that it's weird that Trump was friends with a pedophile for almost 3 decades? Yeah, I don't know, man.
Why doesn't he want to release the files and against the pedophile? Is he trying to hide something? And this is such a manipulative, dirty bullshit strategy. Look, when it says in the Bible, in Leviticus, thou shalt not spread slander among your people. This is what it's talking about. It's this shit. This is spreading slander without directly using the terms that'll get you in legal hot water. And we all know exactly what's going on.
Well, here's what else Jeffrey Epstein wrote. He wrote several text messages to Congresswoman Plaskett while she was sitting on the Oversight Committee in an oversight hearing about Jeffrey Epstein, and she was asking him what questions to ask Michael Cohen.
Yeah, I think that's so much infinitely worse. It's infinitely worse than saying, oh, Trump shook hands with this guy 20 years ago. You know, they're both billionaires. Meanwhile, Trump ratted on him in 2006.
Yeah, so we're not learning that the president of the United States is a pedophile.
How's she not arrested? Because the Democrats voted to not have her arrested.
Right, that's not what we're learning. In fact, what we're learning from these document releases is that Jeffrey Epstein, just like Democrats, hated Trump. And Democrats and Jeffrey Epstein actually have a lot in common.
They have a history of working together against Trump. And then they turned that into some giant, trick that essentially gets people calling Trump a pedophile on Twitter and getting 200,000 likes. Because it's literally that easy. I think it's evil. It's so unbelievably evil.
Okay, because while President Trump was distancing himself from Epstein after learning of Epstein recruiting girls from his estate to do creepy stuff that he didn't want to be involved in, as Trump was like, nah,
yeah, Trump threw him out of his house.
I don't know that, right? I don't want to be involved in that type of stuff. Get away from me, right? As Trump...
This is a restaurant. I like it how when Trump was telling that story, I think what he said, he's basically mad because he stole his employees. Okay, not because they were underage girls or he thought that something inappropriate was going on, but like the way he described it was like, yeah, he took my employees. I said, Jeffrey, you better not ever do that again. You better not ever take one of my employees. They're mine. They're my peasants. He did it again, so I threw him out. That's like that. That's basically what he said. Like, it wasn't like I knew he was a pedophile. I realized, and as soon as I did something about it. Like no.
Democrats were embracing Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein is hot. He is the hottest pedophile this side of the Mississippi. That's right.
Right, like, for example, y'all talk about Stacey Blackman, the delegate from Virgin Islands, okay? She apparently was texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a hearing about Trump, and Epstein was telling her what questions to ask.
By House Resolution 888, censoring and condemning Delegate Stacey Plaskett and removing her from the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence for conduct that reflects the discredibility of the House of Representatives for colluding with convicted felon and offender Jeffrey Epstein during a congressional hearing. Whereas Stacey Plaskett, the delegate representing the United States Virgin Islands House of Representatives, inappropriately coordinated in real time with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in a congressional hearing in February 2019. Whereas Delegate Plaskett was actively coached by Epstein during the hearing, receiving instructions on specific lines of questioning, and was congratulated after the message by Mr. Epstein. Good work.
I'm not calling her a pedophile. I'm just saying that we should be looking into every part of her life. Investigating a pedophile. Now, I'm not calling her a pedophile. I'm just saying, pretty weird and odd. We need a full audit of all of her accounts. We need to put this. We need to put her under the microscope.
Whereas Jeffrey Epstein, the Speaker of the House, is not involved.
And I rise in opposition to this resolution. We're here today on the floor to support the complete disclosure of information.
Honestly, can we just stop calling them congressmen and congresswomen? I think anyone that took money from Jeffrey Epstein from this moment forward should be called a whore or a man whore. Those are the options. What do we think, guys? You taking money from this guy? Whore.
Related to Jeffrey Epstein and his billion-dollar international child sex trafficking ring. And our side of the aisle at least supports the release of information relating to anybody who had anything to do with it, whether they're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, or what have you, period. We insist on complete full disclosure. This resolution has nothing to do with that. This seems to me to be one more pathetic effort to distract and divert attention from the fact that the president's name appeared more than 1,000 times already in the small fraction of material released on Epstein.
Yes, criticizing someone for literally being Jeffrey Epstein's mouthpiece during congressional hearings is a distraction from Trump being mentioned 1,000 times over the course of 50,000 emails while he was the president of the United States, and many of those emails, for the record, were condemning him. There were emails saying that Epstein hated Trump. But of course, that just can't. He's not going to say that. He's just going to say that, well, actually, there were lots of talk of Trump.
And from the failure of the majority to move to disclose this information.
Having email exchanges does not mean that they did something
like
criminal.
Eric Summers.
Okay, but
or Stacey.
Yeah, I mean, they really did hate each other. You know what I think? I think it was a lover's quarrel. Trump and Epstein. Think about it, man. They fought like a old couple.
Plaskett.
Yes,
the fact that they're having exchanges
exactly.
with
that may not be criminal. I do think it is wrong. I mean, people like Deepak Chopra.
Does your concern apply to Stacey Plaskett?
It applies. Did you just hear me? Did you just hear me say?
She should resign.
There you go. Again.
He's so right, though.
I think it's very
she was being programmed.
It's very hypocritical for you to. It's very hypocritical for you to call out the names of only the Democrats, but not apply the very same logic to everyone.
What? What is happening? I'm like lost for words. Why would you even call out the name of Mrs. Plaskett? They might think she's a pedophile. God forbid, that'll be horrible. Anyway, Trump appears in the Epstein files 1,000 times. Oh my God.
And was he programmed?
Listen, hold on. You're basically saying if you're named in these documents, I guess you're saying that they should be condemned. Anna's basically saying, yeah, let it all out. But you're the only one who's making a carve out for one person, and that's Donald Trump.
There's no.
Bro, what are we talking about? Trump and Plaskett are not even remotely in the same issue. This isn't like a double standard. Trump is a guy that shook hands with Jeffrey Epstein 19 years ago. Okay? Has thrown him out of his house, disavowed him, had him arrested under his term. Okay? Never got any support from him ever. Epstein directly said he hated Trump and worked with Democrats to get him thrown in jail. All right? That's Trump. Okay? Plaskett was getting fed questions in the Senate by a generational pedophile against Trump. And they said, don't even mention her name. People might think less of her after 6 months of calling Trump a pedophile. Do you understand the insanity that we're dealing with in this country? Like, do you understand the average person doesn't know all the intricate details of what's going on? Like, do you understand that you talk to your average, average college...
He's right. He's leaving out the part about how Epstein died under mysterious circumstances. So listen. Trump and Epstein were friends for many years. Then they had a falling out. Mysteriously. Okay, Trump talks about it now. Okay, but he didn't really talk about it that much then. Hasn't really talked about it until, his feet were put to the coals. Anyway, then Epstein does in fact plot against Trump during the first Trump admin. Okay, he does, and he works with Democrats to try and get Trump indicted, get him put in prison. And then Epstein gets arrested and dies under mysterious circumstances. Interesting.
They're all going to think Trump's a pedophile because of the way the media manipulated this whole shit?
Evidence that he had any contact with Epstein after he excommunicated him, but we do have evidence that he was programming Democrat members of Congress. Why isn't that big enough?
I guess the point is we just don't know.
We do know.
We know. She's like, I don't know if Jeffrey Epstein didn't have contact with Trump. If you don't know, then why are you making this the main story?
We know he was programming.
Now we're learning. That might be one of the craziest things I've ever seen, man. That might be one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Not even exaggerating. Going on the media and being like, no, Plaskett being in direct contact, getting information from Epstein after he was a convicted child trafficker or whatever. That's not a problem. We shouldn't even mention her name. But we know that Trump shook his hand 19 years ago, and he might have been in contact with him ever since.
That Jeffrey Epstein also was solicited by Democrats, Hakeem Jeffries, the current leader of the Democrats in the House, for campaign donations. So not only was Jeffrey Epstein texting Democrats, coordinating with Democrats, and mainstream media as well too, in order to try to take down Trump.
It is so frustrating because I'll be real. Like in any other society, this would be treason. In literally any other society, this would just actually be treason. And it's crazy to think about it because, like, if you're calling Trump a pedophile, then you're basically telling people to kill him. Like, it's unbelievable how easy it is to slander people these days. People get slandered so easily, and it's crazy.
No. I think Trump is a pedophile. I'm not gonna try to hide it. At this point, I can't. I kind of tried to hide that I was thinking it. I was like, oh, maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but come on, man. What can I do? Anyway, I don't think he should be killed. Okay, actually, I think the opposite. I think he should live. and go to prison and die in prison. That would be the most... that would be the most fair thing. But anyway, not that that's gonna happen. It's never gonna fucking happen. But yeah, no, I don't want Trump to be killed. Okay, I would rather him get away with it, unironically, than him get assassinated. Okay, because if he gets assassinated, he's gonna be a martyr. Okay, he's gonna be like Charlie Kirk. It's gonna be like Kirk all over again. Except it'll probably be a lot worse, actually.
And here you have actual members of the country that lost an election badly. They got humiliated, to be fair. Oh, 7 swing states, majority vote. They got humiliated in the election so badly. These people are, in my opinion, doing acts of sedition to remove Trump's power and authority in every possible way because they hate our country. It's insane.
He also was allegedly helping to finance the Democrat Party as well.
Colleagues' coordination with Epstein. Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries as part of their 2013 effort to win a majority. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we found in the last document batch. The files underscore why former President Trump must appear for his deposition. We've subpoenaed him. To date, the Democrats have done nothing to help us secure his appearance. I support full transparency. The Oversight Committee will continue to work to get the truth to the American people and to get justice for the victims. That's our goal of this investigation. With that, I yield back.
Mr. Gentleman yields back. Yeah, Mr. Speaker, we reserve. The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Yeah. So fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. We're not learning what Democrats are going on television and making defamatory statements claiming about the President of the United States. But we are learning that it was actually Democrats who were in bed with Jeffrey Epstein. Again, Hakeem Jeffries here. This is an email that was sent to Epstein where they say, hey, dear Jeffrey, we are thrilled to announce that we are working with Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, one of the rising stars in the New York congressional delegation, sometimes referred to as, quote, Brooklyn's Barack, aka Discount Obama, aka Dollar Store Obama, right? Okay, aka No Swag Obama, aka No Riz Obama. He is a staunch supporter of President Obama and a progressive voice for the people of New York City. Yeah, so they go on to say that if you would like to get involved with the dinner or would like to get an opportunity to get to know Hakeem better, he is an impressive guy and will be a progressive voice in New York politics for years to come. Again, fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. The same people who are obsessed with President Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Again, a relationship that I think is very clear. That President Trump cut off ties with Epstein.
Like, dude, if there's this happened, and there are, like, victims out there that were raped by Trump, and they're just wandering around, like, you don't think that any of them would have come forward and said that the President of the United States raped me? Like, you really don't think that would happen? It's such an insane situation.
Do you really think... really think that a victim that it's so stupid. Do you really think that if somebody was raped by the President of America that they would hide it? Yeah, man, I think they would. If I got raped by Trump, oh my god, I would never tell a soul. Okay, I would take that to my grave, dog. Okay, honestly, like, no, but seriously, yeah, it's not that crazy to think that, you know, if somebody was raped by Donald Trump, that they would hide it. Okay, yeah, or more likely that he would buy their silence. Okay, he would threaten them and then coerce them with money. Of course. That's what he's done. That's what he's done to his other victims. Anyway.
It became clear that, you know, hey, this guy's into some creepy stuff that the president doesn't want to be involved in, right? He cut off ties with Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein hated the president for doing that, okay? That's mainly what you see in these emails. But while they're worried about that, Democrats were actively trying to get in bed with Jeffrey Epstein, right? Democrats were going back and forth, texting with Jeffrey Epstein, trying to raise money from the guy, trying to blackmail the president with Jeffrey Epstein. Seems to me that Democrats were the ones that were in bed with
that did everything. And for example, this is just like kind of a crazy thought. I'm not trying to be rude here or anything. I'm just saying it's kind of weird if you think about it. Again, not trying to go too far over here. I'm just saying it's a little bit weird. Why is it that the Biden administration didn't release any of the Epstein files?
Because they were hiding them. Because they were hiding them. They were all hiding them. Okay, yeah, we know. We know. There's like liberals aren't even like there aren't any liberals that are out there that are like Bill Clinton, he would never do that. He would, you know, like, he would never do that. Like, I don't care how... No, Bill Clinton hated Jeffrey Epstein. He hated him. He disavowed. You're like, no. Like, Bill Clinton was highly connected to Epstein. It's undeniable. But so was Trump. Okay? But only conservatives are out here like, oh no, the big, beautiful Donald Trump would never diddle children. Are you sure? Are you sure he would
the pedo
never?
party, the ones that are pushing, transing the kids. Turns out the pedo party was in bed with a pedophile. Well, color me shocked and surprised.
Okay, ain't it funny how that works? All of this is really starting to backfire.
They're transing the kids. They're transing the kids.
And you are a Democrat Party supporter. You're not supposed to ask questions about why is it that Democrats did not release the bombshell information that would prove that President Trump was involved in some type of crime with Jeffrey Epstein. Why didn't they release this information when they were in power for the last 4 years? Because we all know that if they actually had anything on the president, they would have released it by now. But apparently, you're not supposed to ask these questions.
No, but that's not true. Well, they did have something on the president. They had the emails. There's probably other shit that they got. Like, they had so much ammunition against him. Whether you think it's real or not, okay, they did. These emails existed. And they sat on them. Okay, we know that. So then the question is, why didn't they release them? Like, it would have done Kamala a tremendous favor. She probably would have won. Okay, so, like, why didn't they release them? I wonder.
Well, plantation overseer, people like Roland Martin, for example, Roland Martin, they're going to
jump in his ass. You got to push back immediately. Jump in his ass. You were there for 4 years. How come you didn't open it as a Democratic Party then?
True.
What am I missing?
True.
I'm not saying I know. It's a legitimate question.
Bro, dude, the black community is turning on them. No.
Maybe I don't remember the answer. Maybe my extraordinary producers should be able to help me during the commercial break. But from my understanding,
you're not a
the same
monolith.
files that were open or being open now with the 220 pages of documents or whatever it is, with various emails, that could have been done when Biden was in office.
True.
Well, why didn't you?
I'm just thinking of that right now. Wait a second. You're so right. What color me surprised?
Do it.
Oh my God.
If it's so important now, what were the Democrats doing at that particular moment in time?
They were probably raping children. No, but I'm not trying to slander anyone here, obviously. Calling someone a pedophile for defending pedophiles actually is in bad taste, right?
How about you do the damn research before you go on the air on an epic rant, Stephen A? Like, I don't understand why black people or other folks with shows don't know how to do research before they open their mouths. What you just heard is misinformation and disinformation.
Oh my God.
As for why Biden and the Democrats didn't release the criminal case files.
Okay, I'm ready.
Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell, the associate of Jeffrey Epstein, Maxwell's criminal case was still open during the Biden administration.
It was closed in 2021. What were they doing from 2021 to 2024? Oh my God, Lord, save me from these damn idiots. This is crazy.
She wasn't convicted until late 2021.
And then Biden was president for 3 more years. Oh my God, these people are retarded. Is this what the Democrats have to do? Is this how they defend themselves?
And then she appealed her conviction. Generally, it's not a good idea to open your evidence files when a criminal case is ongoing.
Oh my God.
We also don't know whether the FBI was still investigating other possible suspects who helped Epstein or participated in his crimes. If you are still targeting suspects, you don't want them to know you are zeroing in on them.
Right, so the Biden not releasing the files, that's zeroing in on suspects. Trump not releasing the files, well that means that everyone in the Trump administration must be defending pedophiles.
This is what I keep trying to tell these people who are in media. When you have a mega microphone, you need to be...
I do my own research. Proceeds to read a tweet. I can't stand it anymore, man. I'm so done with these retards, bro.
Judicious with how you use it. You need to be careful with what you say and how you say it, and you need to have your facts right.
Yeah. Like that time when...
Yeah, look, I mean, before we even move on. Bro, you don't even have a neck! All right, moving on.
Roland Martin falsely claimed that DHS AI doctored a video to make it seem like a black teenager threatened ICE when DHS did not AI.
Oh yeah, I remember that whole scandal. All right, so he's dealing with other scandals at this point. Now, before wrapping up the Epstein saga here, at least this video, I'm sure we're going to talk about this more as more Democrats get exposed, because it turns out the pedo party is actually in bed with pedophiles. No one saw this coming. What? You mean the party that's, selectively and stealthily installing pedophile teachers in every school in America is actually involved with pedophiles? Oh, I'm shocked. Well, it turns out they were also involved in a giant giant sex trafficking ring of children. A lot more directly than you might think.
Just this week, Joint Task Force Alpha took 4 major enforcement actions. Right here in Tampa, we unsealed the indictment charging 12 defendants operating a massive illegal smuggling ring. The defendants engaged in a conspiracy to bring illegal aliens from Cuba to the U.S. for profit. They coached their clients, including children, who came to airports alone, came to our country alone, were put on planes for connecting flights, lied to Border Patrol agents, coaching, and law enforcement. They charged up to $40,000 per victim. They used Zelle to transfer over $7 million over the course of this scheme, and I believe had profits, cash, of over $18 million.
So it seems like, under Biden, that the Biden administration funneled $7 million into a child smuggling network ran by a trafficker who made $18 million bringing kids illegally across our borders. It seems like the government was literally funding child trafficking with the open border policies. So remind me, who's the pedophile